Welcome to On the Firing Line on the information station, AM 1440 KUHL. Information, education, news, and politics of firearms and ammunition is found here. If you have any questions, call us at 1-888-625-1440. That's 1-888-625-1440.
November will be the last month that we run the radio show. We've enjoyed sharing our thoughts with you and hearing yours. To all our fans, thank you. Without your support, we would not have lasted this long. We just can't keep making the monthly payments. If we had a donation of about $8,000 a year, we would be able to stay on the air. Again, thank you so much for listening for as long as you did. To those out there that did help support with donations, you are awesome people. It was you who helped to get the message out there. We will keep this Facebook page up and running so that you can get info on what's on the anti-gun world. Again, Kanani, Matt, and I, Joe, thank you. And we hate letting the show go.
Yeah, I mean, if any of you caught kind of the pre-show, we had a few minutes there before 4 o'clock. We talked about it a little bit, just, how we would like to keep doing it, but at the current time, it's just, the decision is to give it a break for a little while. But like Joe just read, it doesn't mean it's the end of everything. We still have our Facebook page up, and who knows, in the future we could be setting up a podcast or something like that. But for now, the Facebook page will still be pumping, and we'll pumping out shows until the end of the month.
Yep, absolutely. That's got to be a bummer for you too, Kanani, because you just came on with us, and it's like, all of a sudden now we're doing this to you. I apologize.
Yeah, it's been close to a year, and it's been a fun run, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Awesome. So. I just don't. I wish there was some way we didn't have to let it go.
Yeah,
but here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, I mean hopefully we can in the next couple weeks we'll find some cool stories and go out with a bang at least.
Yeah.
Some good news to start it off with is, the excuse me, there's a lot going on in the office right now. But anyway, the voting went well, better than anticipated.
Well, and that was interesting what Kanani was saying about the Mitchum in Caps race. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's close, and it's not over. So
right, it's very close.
Could be gone.
It's possible, and because Mitchum hasn't conceded yet, and they still have about 18,000 votes left to count, it's close. It's about a 4,000 vote swing.
And you were saying a lot of the votes left counted are North County.
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's what Jim had mentioned, which is really interesting because North County would be the people who'd be supporting Mitchum.
Which is totally the way I'm thinking of it. So, I mean, there's hope.
You said 18,000 votes?
Yeah, there's 18. Can you hear me at all?
Nope.
The microphone is supposed to be working.
Not through the mic.
Nothing in the mic?
But
Nothing?
it's all right. I can't hear myself through the mic
18,000 votes, and all she needs is what?
Well, she's ahead by 4,000. So if there was 4,001, the idea would be that Mitchum would take it. And it's only about a 2 or 3% swing between the two.
Wow, that is so close.
And these votes that they have left to count, they're the absentee mail-in votes.
Okay. Well, yeah, and then
we can see a change.
Brown's still there again. I mean, it was kind of like a big surprise, that he got it again. Obviously, but I mean, other than those two, we had a lot of victories.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. It was nice to see P get blown out of the water.
2-1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it was 33-66 basically.
About that, yeah. It was actually one of the higher voters. The amount of people that voted for it was close to 83,000.
Yeah.
So pretty much everybody who was registered to vote or became registered to vote voted, and 2/3 of them voted no on P.
And it was so funny. I can't recall if I talked about this on air last week or not, but the way the media was portraying it locally was so out of this world. I mean, when they said, so if you're voting no on P, you're supporting big oil. If you vote yes on P, you're against fracking and oil, all this stuff. And they tried to make it sound like, that if you vote no on P, then all you're doing is supporting the big oil industry.
In such a negative way. I mean, just the way they said it.
Yeah, and then the night of the election, I was watching it, and once the landslide was happening, immediately they started saying, well, the no on P side only won because they had so much more funding. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like, come on with the excuses, really. I mean, either you go up to the election, you do your race, But if you get schwapped 2-1, I mean,
like, hello?
well, you don't just sit there. Well, they had more funding.
I'm a
well,
poor sport loser.
Yeah.
In all politics, the losers will usually come back and say that they had more funding for
Yeah.
the winners. I think in this case, what funding was used was to educate the public, and the public
And the
really
pu-
listened and
didn't-
understood what was going on and voted what their conscience was.
I think that's a good point.
Well, it was crazy. I mean, we took this show, 2-3 weeks ago, and we literally took Measure P and blew it out of the water.
Holy
There was
smokes, we
no
did.
substance to it. There was no reality to it. And we were able to take every single part, every pushing point that the Yes on P people were using, and we destroyed it.
Yeah.
It made no common sense
Oh,
at
no,
all.
yeah. And then those exact reasons that, where people were to vote yes on P, I was seeing him talk about it on the news, exactly what we had just debunked, like that day on the radio. But they're still on the news talking about, well, there's fracking going on right outside of our coast. And I'm thinking, well, right outside of our coast doesn't really mean on our coast. It just means outside of our coast. So either they're being very careful in the way they're wording it, or they're just
Hey, either they're really ignorant,
or they're really ignorant.
or they're just downright liars.
Who wrote the law?
And that's-
who wrote
and
the
that's
thing?
it.
Was the woman,
Yeah,
the
and-
assistant at the Sierra Club, right? She's the one who wrote it.
Oh man, and be wary of anybody at the Sierra Club.
Wasn't it?
I believe it was a firm in San Francisco that
Right,
had.
but she's the one who initiated put the initiative together. Her name's on it.
Huh.
Do you mean Janet Blevins?
Yes.
Okay.
Blevins. Okay.
Well, she's the head, not head of the Sierra Club, but she's big in the Sierra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like this when Caps all over on Caps's campaigning was supported by the Sierra Club, and it's like, ow, woo.
Scared of that.
I mean, people. I mean, I get people that don't look into it just think probably, oh, that's whatever. It's for Greenpeace or something. Who knows? But I mean, the Sierra Club have some pretty wild ideas on
Oh, yeah.
what you and me should be doing.
I don't need them
And
to
that's
be
where-
thinking about what I should be doing.
Exactly, and for me,
Think
that's
about
where
what
it
they should
stops.
be doing and let me think about myself. That's what being an American is all about, isn't it? I mean,
America, Jiminy American.
Jiminy Cricket.
It's the
Oh
truth.
my gosh. Well, it's interesting. Now we have a Senate and a House controlled by the Republic.
Yep.
It hasn't been this way in a long time, has it?
Years.
I want to say I read an article that said in 1928 was the last time that we have taken and had this many Republicans in Congress.
All right, I
I
thought
think-
that it was in
So
the
it's-
50s, but even if it's in the 20s or 50s, still, this is quite a statement.
Oh, big time.
I'm still worried. I'm glad to see that that the Conservative Party has taken control in some areas where they can actually get something accomplished, so long as they can get the president to work with them, or even if he doesn't want to work with them. I think that I feel confident that there's still enough that they can do to bypass him to get things done
Maybe
using
they'll
the
impeach
system
him.
correctly. Wouldn't that be nice?
well,
Although-
now we have the opportunity to. I'm
yeah, but
just
there's only
saying.
2 years left. I don't think it's going to
16 in the
happen.
Senate.
So, well, you never know. There's enough of the blues out there, I think, that don't really like him.
I think they did. The Blues did take Alaska.
Okay.
When you look at the map, almost the entire United States is red, except for the coast and a few small states on the East Coast.
Yeah,
He
it
was
was.
ahead by 600 votes last time.
Well,
Interesting. Well, there are a number of questions to be asked now that the GOP is in control. Number one, are they going to fulfill their promises to get rid of Obamacare? What are they going to do about our borders? And amnesty is another big question. Also, as what we expect from all of our politicians, the oath that they took, are they going to protect the Constitution? I mean, that's, after all, one of the biggest parts of their oath is upholding and protecting the Constitution.
to me, that's one of the major parts of it. That's the defining part.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what says, hey, I am the leader that will support you, the American public, because you deserve to have the Constitution, and in you having it, I'm going to guarantee in my seat of power that nothing can corrupt it or take it away from you. That's what a true politician does.
Right. And I think the Constitution, I mean, this is obvious, but it gives the power to the people, not just to the person.
Right.
And that's obviously very important.
I think too, we need to see from them their ability and what they can do to make sure that nobody can ever mess with our Second Amendment right again. I also would like to see that they do instill some projects that will put jobs on the market and fix our economy. I think there's a lot that can be done there as well. There's just so much. The fight on terrorism, how is that going to be approached now? Are they going to
Hopefully with an iron fist.
with an iron fist? Exactly, and in doing so, they'll have to fix the rules of engagement, I believe.
Oh man, yes. I wholeheartedly wish, hope, and believe that they do alter the ROEs. I mean, some of the stuff that I've found out just recently in the last week is so disturbing, and it puts our guys in so much danger, and it's obvious, and we shouldn't have to go check a lawyer every time they have to.
No.
If there's a guy shooting at you with a machine gun, where does the lawyer matter? It doesn't. So you're absolutely right. Will the GOP change things like this? I mean, they have the power to.
There's so much more too. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's the
we
tip
have
of
the
the
Veterans
iceberg.
Administration. Are they going to fix that? They're going to fix the IRS. There is so much at stake here and so much at question within the United States right now. These guys have their hands full, but yet we don't know 100% if they're going to follow through with what they said they were going to do. After all, they're politicians.
Exactly. We never do. I mean, look at Obama's running platform. I mean, what of that have we seen? And that's just how it is. Like you said, it's always empty promises.
Right. Ah.
I will fix this.
And if it's not empty promises, it's trades. Kind of like, I don't know, high school. I will put a new soda machine in the cafeteria.
yeah, exactly.
Vote for me.
Yeah.
And you'll have less homework.
Yeah, Skittles.
Vote for me.
Skittles will be 25 cents cheaper.
Right.
And that's the type of stuff that they really say. I mean, yeah, it's on a different scale, but, same difference.
Here's another thing is we look at our politicians today, and most of our politicians wanted to be politicians.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The first person who wants to be a politician is not a good politician. I'm sorry.
Well, that's like a lot of times you'll see people get elected to the spot not by the people in the traditional sense, but other people of power will say, hey, Joe, you do this, and this very well. I think that I'm going to support you for this office. And so all of a sudden now you're stepping up, but, and that'd be without...
If I'm asked by the American public, I'm going to do whatever I can.
Well, at that point, it's almost your duty.
Exactly. And that's the point. It is a sense of duty.
Yeah.
It is a duty.
Yeah. What's happening, Dan?
Hey,
How you doing today?
man, I'm just bummed you guys are going to be gone.
Well, don't be too bummed. We still got a couple more good shows left. And, like I said, we're going to still keep the information coming. The information superhighway.
Hey, I already got, a guy called in and I gave that coupon away.
Oh,
cool.
good.
Cool.
And the new coupon will be if you guys come on the air, it'll be a stereo conversion, which is worth about $450.
Huh. Wow, that's some pretty good incentive there.
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah. So you guys, just let me know.
Oh yeah, well you'll know, Dan. I mean, you listen to the show regularly, so sounds like you're pretty up to date on our going-ons in here. So
Hey.
just let us know also. Real quick, what'd you think of the elections? Good, bad, happy, sad?
California sucked.
That's one way of saying
sucked,
it.
but nationwide was pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I agree. That's
And I
kind
think
of something we were
got
talking
some
about.
issues here. We got some guys, and the whole thing is you have Democrats that enjoy owning firearms,
Yeah.
and that's the whole thing. That's weird about this
Yeah.
is there are Democrats that enjoy owning firearms and want
Well,
I mean,
we've said it.
California is so screwed up.
Oh yeah, we've said it time again that firearms transcend all political lines. So exactly like you're saying, it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat, Republican, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Wanting to protect yourself, everybody wants that. And if you want to do it as a sport, then what does it make a difference if you're one or the other?
Yeah, and the other thing is Chris Mitchum was so close,
He still is close. We can't lose hope in Mitchum.
and Lois Capps was such a liar on that.
Oh yeah,
I
well,
mean that thing. Oh, I'm not going to go to,
to Washington to represent the 24th district.
yeah,
Yeah.
to bring back baseball fields. No, I'm going up there for the important stuff.
Yep, of course. Well, hey, Dan, thanks a lot for calling in and giving us your support. Stay tuned over the next couple weeks, and that way you'll be up to date on the happenings. But we got to go ahead and take our first quick break, and we'll be right back with more On the Firing Line.
You guys can call me, and I'll make an...
Joe, we'll be right back with you on the firing line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Building an AR-15, they have lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies and stuff.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes and have trained thousands of local ladies.
The store is located off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit. Look for the big rifle sign on the freeway as well as the giant 5-ton Tactical military truck, and they're now open on Mondays. America!
On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
Have you been looking for a new or used motorcycle or all-terrain vehicle?
With a staff that has a combined 270 years of experience to inspire and help you make that informed decision.
Santa Maria Motorcycles is your one-stop shop, and their mission is to provide you with that ultimate experience.
They also have rentals, so you can take that ride you have been dreaming of up the coast.
They're located at 2022 Presker Lane in Santa Maria, or give Chris and his team a call at 805-928-3668. Again, that's 805-928-3668.
We're happy to have a special guest here today at the Plumbing Talk Studios, Jeremy Griffin, owner of Griffin Plumbing in Orcutt. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Jeremy, the reason your plumbing company is called Griffin Plumbing is that your last name is, in fact, Griffin.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable! Griffin, just like the legendary creature with the body of a lion and the wings of an eagle.
Yeah.
What a brilliant move, Jeremy.
I'm a genius.
To name your plumbing company after this majestic creature. A creature known not only to have divine power, but also to be a protector from all things evil.
Well, it is my last name.
Audience, listen carefully. If your plumbing devices are threatened in any way, I implore you to seek the power and protection of the Griffin.
We're always here to help. Just give us a call.
Call the Griffin.
Find us at callgriffinplumbing.com or call 934-1949.
You are on the firing line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. Be a part of today's show by calling 888-625-1440, or if you're in the Santa Maria area, please give us a call at 928-1440.
That's right. We are back on the firing line with Joe, Kanani, Matt, and Jim. So we've kind of been celebrating a lot of the lots of the red and the small amounts of blue lately. That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
But like we've said, will this change stuff? How will it change stuff? Will do people just switch? Our names change, or is actual policy going to happen? So I think that's something that in the next 2 years, obviously, we will either find out or won't find out.
Yeah, I think they're in a good position to be able to do a lot of work, even if it does get counteracted by either the president or they don't get the votes. I think what they're going to need to do is continue to put forth different bills and different legislature in order to show that they are working towards overcoming the Obama administration.
You're right. They are going to have to. They're going to have to present all kinds of bills to his desk, whether he vetoes them or not.
Right, that doesn't
At least
matter.
it puts the responsibility on him because
Exactly.
it shows that they're doing the work that they're supposed to be doing
And
we're elected to do.
Yeah, and what they've been saying that they're going to do. They're kind of following through with what their promises were. And while they are politicians, you can't always believe what they say. I think that would be a good step into turning around our nation.
Yeah, they have a lot of work ahead of them, unfortunately, and it's not going to happen all in this set of 4 years. Or 2 years now, right?
Mm-hmm, before the next presidential election.
It's not going to happen that quick. And that's one thing people have to remember is you have to have patience because it does take time to get things done and presented and pushed through.
Yeah.
And very strong chance that it may be in the next presidency or near the ending of the next presidency where you start seeing some of these effects start taking place. Although there are some short-term fixes that I think that they can use right now to get some things jump-started. For instance, our economy, the pipelines, helping present jobs and stuff like that. I think it was really funny when I forget what article I was reading, and Obama and everybody on the Democratic side pushed out the pipeline because they actually had something else that they wanted to do, and were kind of getting monies for their races and stuff like that. I think it would be good to see all avenues taken, because the truth of the matter is we are dependent on oil, we are dependent on coal, and that's not going to go away for a long time.
Right.
I don't care what kind of machinery you come up with. You are going to need oil to fix for lubrication against friction and stuff like that. So
Well, you're going to need the oil and the petroleum products in orre to even create those
Absolutely.
vehicles.
Exactly.
And oil and coal are some of the cheapest, easiest fuels with the biggest bang for your buck that we
Right.
have out there. I mean, presently, I'm all for solar and wind and all of that other stuff, but it just doesn't produce it at the rate that
It's
is going to
not
be
as
most
efficient.
effective, right?
Yeah.
Especially nationwide when we have such a large base of consumers to use energy.
right.
Yeah, it's a huge amount. It's basically, if you look at it like it's a giant pool, and everybody's drawn from
Yeah.
it. So I mean, the grid that has to be there to support that. You don't want you lose one nut and the whole thing starts falling apart.
Exactly.
Well, and we are always going to be looking for new sources of energy. But like you said, we're going to need the petroleum to be able to invent those things. It's just not going to happen. This is the reality of things, and I wish that the Green Party could actually see that and actually put a foot in. Sure, we all want a clean environment. We all want a great world to live in. But there are certain things, reality-wise, especially with the population as it is today in this world, you're going to have these.
Yeah.
There's
Let's
no way
face
around
it. You just can't make a Glock or an M&P without petroleum products. You just
Especially in
can't do
those
it.
Palmer
That's what I'm
lures there, huh?
saying. They just can't do it. So
No.
just for that fact alone, man, they better keep it on.
Wow.
Well, I had to say it. It's a gun show. Don't forget.
It is a gun show. That means our last show, we should just talk guns. Just nothing but guns.
I've been wanting to talk guns for a year, man. Isn't that obvious?
All right, that's it. Matt's putting together the last show.
All right, that's it. We're talking guns. Oh, man. I think I might have just killed Joe.
I'm dying over here. All right.
So what's next there, dude?
Well, we're still
Where do you
talking
wanna
about the different things. Did you guys see where the 18-year-old girl won in?
That's
Yeah,
pretty
for the
awesome.
Republican Party too.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
youngest female she's a senator, right?
Yes.
Is in the Republican Party. So the idea that they're a bunch of old white men just does
Which
not
is-
apply anymore.
Exactly. Because I don't.
And the war against women, yes.
I mean, come on.
Oh my God! Now, I've always hated they're just a bunch of the old white guys and they control. I've always just hated it's such a stupid.
It's a stupid stereotype,
cliche
you know?
thing,
It is, and it's so BS. I was working a
Right.
job in Los Angeles for an auto glass company that no longer exists, and we were a nationwide, actually a worldwide company. And one of our district managers came in and he goes, "Well, this ain't no good old boys club anymore." And he happened to be African American, or let's forget that. I can't stand those kind of
So he
words.
was black.
He was a black man, and he used that phrase. And boy, he just turned around and did exactly what they did, though, but in a different way. So it's like, okay, we see what kind of club we're in now.
Right.
Well, actually, even Utah, they had the new senator, I believe her last name was Lev.
Yes.
It's a black Haitian woman.
Yes,
So it's
first
kind of like
one.
she's getting the double whammy there against them. And a lot of the women that did win, that have taken the seats over in the Senate, were Republicans who beat their male counterparts.
Right. It's really cool. I listened to a couple of things she had to say, Miss Love,
Yeah.
Okay, she was on CNN, and CNN came up and they said, so how does the race play into this? And she's all, race? What are you guys talking about? I ran on my own laurels. I put up a platform and ran on my platform. I didn't use my color for this.
Right.
I'm an American citizen. I'm fighting for Americans. That's what this is about. It's like, hello, get a clue.
Right, and it's because everybody always says, race doesn't matter. If race didn't matter, then you wouldn't have to ask that question.
Right.
I mean, if that news agency is saying race doesn't matter, if they really believed in that, then they wouldn't have to say something like that.
You're absolutely right. CNN, Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, all these guys should be ashamed of themselves. And the reason being is because 5 years ago, let me go back 10 years ago, we were on a path to fixing things in this country.
This is true.
We were seeing lines that were still out there in states like Texas and in the South and even in the North to some small degree. We were seeing some of these things still happening, but it was starting to go away a little bit, and we were starting to bring people together, and we were starting to be a people of a country instead of a divided country.
Totally.
And that's so sick that they would do that, and they would intentionally do that. For what? For gain for themselves or something else?
Yeah.
It sickens me. Now we see there's a chance that we can all be treated as Americans for what we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I was young then, but it almost seems like back then to the Reagan era. Or I could be incredibly off, can't they?
Gorbachev, you take down this wall.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Guy commanded things and got it done.
Oh man, yeah, it's amazing. What about Kanani, Matt? Either one of you guys, what do you think was the biggest thing on this election?
Well, personally, it was the Measure P.
Yeah,
but but I think seeing how many people got up and voted and how close all of the races were, and they always try to tell you that your vote really does count. But I think when you look at the numbers, you can see how every single person who got out and expressed their opinion did in fact count. I mean, they're still counting the votes right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's that's similar to the way it gets me too. Is looking at also what you just said, and then looking at what happened. As far as all the Republican votes and stuff, that's pretty neat to see. And especially, I get that. I'm obviously not the expert, but I guess the Republicans have more of a turnout for voting, right?
Right,
and
during midterm elections.
Midterm elections. But still, even with that, we crushed them.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't. So I don't want to hear that as an excuse from anybody, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely just kind of take it one step further when you look at how many Republicans did turn out and how many new voters they had and where they actually voted. That this was a big turn in our country. When you look at how many people had came out to vote, that all of the votes swung towards the Republican side.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's an amazing statement. Think of this as what we saw with Barack Obama. We saw a lot of the college people bringing out the vote,
getting behind the hope,
and voting in something that I'm sure a lot of their professors and different teachers were telling them, this is the way America is supposed to be, and look what America is now, and all this stuff. And they fell for it, and they went right along head first, voted for somebody who, after 6 years, 8 years now, 6 years now, has come to find out that they were misled. And life is not as easy as what they thought it was supposed to become.
Right.
They've seen school tuitions go up. They've seen it harder to get jobs. They've seen money taken away from their parents and given to other people to make their lives better. I mean, most of these guys do have some common sense. Believe it or not, there's more common sense out there than you think.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would actually probably not say that they were misled, but rather exploited. Because I think people, when they're young,
that's a good point.
They think that there are bigger deals as far as being kind-hearted, and they want people who are poor to have money and to have the same opportunities that they do. And so when the Democratic Party comes in and then says we're going to give all of those things to those people, they're instantly going to get that vote because they believe what they're trying to tell them.
Yeah, it's like it's from their heart.
Right.
That's what they're.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so we got Gary on the line. How you doing today, Gary?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, hanging in there, just telling it how it is as usual.
Well, I'm a regular listener to your show, and I just discovered today that you guys are getting ready to pull the plug temporarily, and I understand it's due to an $8,000 a year deficit. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, that's right about the zone.
Okay, so doing the math, that's $154 a month.
For $8,000?
Yes.
It's actually close to about $670.
Okay, well, I just you're on the air 1 hour each week, and there's 52 weeks.
Yep.
So I divided that out, and I came up with $154.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my issue. I thought you said month.
For a week, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so if you had 30 people a week donate $5, that would pretty much cover it, right?
That would cover the show.
So my suggestion would be, in your wonderful shop, maybe you could put up a sign, and with all the customers that you have, maybe you could get some donations there. And the other thing that comes to mind is the Andy Caldwell show, which is on 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, and Collab. And they're all similar thinking people, and I just wondered if they couldn't help you folks with this a little bit too.
That's an interesting approach. I haven't thought about that with the Ecolab and in talking to Andy Caldwell and those guys. We do actually have a box up at the shop, and we do get some donations in there. Unfortunately, it doesn't equal out, and I'm not taking away, because the people who have given money have given, even if it's $1 or $20, and I have gotten $100 in there before. I mean, I know that that's hard-earned money. Money's not easy to come by, and we appreciate that. But unfortunately, it hasn't met the needs. So that aspect we have taken a look at, and it's still there and up and going. But that's a good idea to go and talk to Andy and see what they might have to say, because you never know. That could be the difference. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And, we totally appreciate the input and the support for the show. That's really cool of you. And I'm glad that we have listeners that do care about the future of this, And so thanks, man.
Well, I need that hour every Saturday.
That makes 5 of us.
At any rate, having been in similar circumstances, when you start thinking about pulling the plug on something, it's hard to come up with new ideas.
True.
And boy, there's so many people out there that are like-minded thinking people in this wonderful community that we live in.
Yeah.
That I just think that there must be some people out there that can help you guys and keep this thing rolling. I also noticed that I listen to KUHL a lot, and they got a lot of dead air, especially on Saturdays.
Yeah, boy,
I mean, they had 45 minutes of dead air today, and your show was an hour.
We could have used that whole hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you make.
Well, best of luck to you guys, and I hope you can pull it off.
All right, man.
Thank you for your support. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
You got it. That's
Bye-bye.
awesome.
So cool. I mean, again, it's awesome to hear the support, from, I guess, we'll call them fans.
Right.
From people that listen to the show. So that's nice to hear. So thank you, everybody, for, calling in and even just, the stuff that you've been typing up for us. With that said, we're going to go ahead and jump on into our second break of the hour, and we'll be back with more On the Firing Line.
We'll be back to more of On the Firing Line with Joe and Jim after this.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We'll be right back with you on the firing line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Building an AR-15, they have lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies and stuff.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes and have trained thousands of local ladies.
The store is located off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit. Look for the big rifle sign on the freeway as well as the giant 5-ton Tactical military truck, and they're now open on Mondays. America!
On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
On the air with the Midnight Mystic is one of our regular callers, truck driver Charlie.
Boy, I just seen another one, Midnight Mystic.
Another Griffin, Charlie?
I'm telling you, they're all over the Central Coast now.
How long have you been on the road now, Charlie?
2, 5, 8 weeks, I don't know.
Perhaps you should park the truck and get some sleep, and maybe the Griffins will disappear.
Well, there it is again. I'm going after it.
What does it look like, Charlie?
Holy mackerel. It's got the body of a lion and the head of an eagle.
Is it flying, Charlie?
It's on the side of a white truck.
Is it a Griffin plumbing truck, Charlie?
fluctuate.
We seem to have lost contact with Charlie, but I'm sure he'll be okay because Griffins, just like the good folks at Griffin Plumbing, are here to protect and serve. In fact, if your plumbing devices are threatened in any way,
Call the Griffin.
Find us at callgriffinplumbing.com or call 934-1949.
Welcome back to On the Firing Line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani.
That's right. We're back on the firing line. That was my best Joe Buck. Sorry, I had to do it.
You're all fired up, brother.
I don't know. Sometimes, every once in a while, you get that way. So anyway, we're back on the firing line with Joe, Matt, Kanani. Give us a jingle at 625-1440 or 928-1440. We would like to hear from you, and also don't forget to check out our Facebook page, On the Firing Line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. All right, where are we going next on this train? Crazy
I don't know.
train.
I still like the idea that gentleman had that just called. I think that was a fantastic idea. You know, it's a little bit outside the box, and it might yield something. I think that's a good place to start looking.
Yeah, I mean, for the lack of better words, joining forces could only make us that much stronger if it works out. You know, so that is something.
Well, and it is, I don't know what demographics wise. That's the kind of people we need to be talking to. They are like-minded. It is the right path.
I thought our target audience was people with ears.
Well, they have to have an AM radio too, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That does help.
Double standards.
The biggest surprise you guys had for the election day? What was the biggest surprise?
The biggest surprise for me was seeing Colorado, seeing what was it, Iowa?
Iowa was huge. That was big.
Mine was Illinois governor.
Oh my God! Yes.
That was my biggest.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Well, they haven't had they haven't had a Republican
and there was
governor
like
in 42 years.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a huge statement.
Yeah.
And what were those people thinking when they went and voted? They were upset. The way it's been going down in a
they wanted change.
Environment.
They wanted change, man.
Yeah, I think it was corrupt.
You know,
it's been corrupt.
Obama.
Exactly. That's his backyard. I mean, hello.
It's like saying,
I wonder if Joyce Foundation was shaking a little bit. Or Acorn. Oh my
all
God.
of them, man. Holy smokes.
that was my biggest surprise. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I think a lot of Democratic agendas, all kinds of different stuff, kind of got the foundation shaken a little bit this week.
Well,
Another one.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what you said, Matt. Is that there's what Democrats are doing? It's just not working. You know, it's hitting everybody exactly where it hurts in their paycheck and where their standard of living is failing, and that's a real problem.
That, of course, that is a problem. And yet, as I've told with some of these stories that I have, there are still people out there that think everything's doing just fine.
Yeah.
The way it is, the way it was last week.
Ask them how many times a week they can buy meat when they go grocery shopping.
Well, dude.
I mean, have you seen the prices of meat go up?
It's out. It's just through the roof.
Bacon is it's hard to get bacon for under $10 a pound, which is not that good for me.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
That's for sure.
It's ridiculous. I used to be able to go get hamburger meat. You know, even not too lean, sure, but I mean, I would get it for like $2.50. Now it's like $5.39, $6.39.
Well, and everything. The only thing that's down is gas prices right now, and don't hold your breath for that.
Yeah, no, don't hold your breath.
I went to get milk the other day, and I thought I was in Hawaii.
It's like almost $3, $3.50 a gallon.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
Oh man,
this is a sign of our economy.
Yeah, but it's doing better than it ever did with Bush. I'm just saying what the Democrats that are listening are thinking, okay?
You know, it's amazing.
Like there's any Democrats listening.
On that night, I'm flipping back and forth between Fox and CNN. I'd listen to, a segment of Fox, switch over to CNN, and they'd be talking the same thing, but from a totally different point of view.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. It was my entertainment for the night. I was having a great time.
For that night?
No, huh? Jim's over here asking us if we saw the ratings.
The ratings were for every. I think Fox received 10 million people.
Wow, 10 million people for Fox.
So they were. I mean, that's a big night for them, needless to say.
All the other cable networks.
What was that?
They were like 3 million.
So Fox was at 10, and all the other combined were at 3
But
million.
Fox is so corrupt and so full
they're
of
so
lies.
extreme, right?
It's only because they had the
Tea
most
partiers.
Liars.
They had the most funding. That's the only reason.
Well, again, I think when you see how many people are viewing Fox, I mean, they can't be too far off.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild.
Well, I
And,
think that they are
that's-
actually bringing up some of the hot topics that actually mean something to us.
Yeah, that aren't just elevator music. Yeah, fluff, like the elevator topics.
Not fluff here.
No fluff here. No, just truth darts into your eye. Sorry.
But they do. They definitely discuss the topics that affect everyone and the questions that I think everybody else has on their mind, wondering what on earth is going on with this country. And they question what's going on out there, and then they propose answers. And, that's what I think people want to see.
Well, it's working because I'll tell you what happened to President Barack Obama right afterwards? How is the media talking to him now? I love it. I'm listening to these different things,
kidding.
CNN, and they're asking him questions that they never would have asked him
Yeah, they would-
3 years ago,
yeah.
4 years ago.
That's which is
it
a
was
good point.
hilarious. He looked like he was like, where's my prompter?
I wasn't prepared
nobody
for a
prepared me
follow-up
this.
question.
I mean, it was fantastic. And it's good to see that the pressure is there in front of him.
Yeah, that those
although I'll be honest with
opportunities are
you,
open.
what do you call a person that's into themselves? Vain, kind of vain, but and he is
Conceited?
so conceited and vain that I don't think he's going to let this tell him anything.
He talked about the 2
Well, that's
Yeah.
too bad they didn't vote. And the truth of the matter is, he's going to be stuck. But he is so vain, he is so into himself, that he will fight in Buck and Hall against everything that comes out of the Senate and the House.
Narcissistic is what you're looking for.
Thank you, narcissistic.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
that is the
and I
word.
agree with you, Joe. I think that is the way that he's going to do it. Is he's going to kick and whine and try and get his way. Because what have we seen already? Well, why would we think he's going to do anything different now? So,
Well, he has nothing to lose at this point because he's not up for re-election.
he's going to lose office.
I mean, his party might be available, but he's
Right,
not.
but him as a
he can
person,
just
yeah.
piss out for the rest of the 2 years and not worry about it.
Well, it was amazing. He said, I can't be reelected because I can only run for 2 terms. And I'm thinking to myself,
Why
God,
would you say that? Are you going to
Hello,
propose
it's-
legislation so that
Captain
you can run for
Obvious.
longer?
I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be
my
the first
God,
time
I
that it's
know.
ever been presented.
Executive order.
Oh God, who was it that actually did last 3 terms? That was
Bush Senior.
No, Roosevelt did. That's exactly right. That's the only one that we've ever had, right?
Yeah, he's the only one who was elected 3 times.
Right. I would not put it past him. I don't think that it's going to happen, but I wouldn't put it past him for him to pull something out of his hat somewhere.
Isn't that the 23rd Amendment?
I believe so.
I think the 23rd Amendment.
Yeah, 2 terms.
He can actually have a total 10 years, I think. Or
10 years. So what if you
because
can
the
only
one
have
who
2 terms?
qualified for that would have been Johnson, because he took.
Oh, okay. So if you take, so if somebody else, so say if a president dies or something halfway through,
The vice
his
president
term,
becomes
the
president.
vice
He runs
president
for his 2
Gets
years.
those 2 years, and then he can potentially get reelected twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. I understand.
But
now.
executive orders.
Executive order.
Anything can be done with an executive order. I mean, that's what I'm led to believe now. Huh.
Republican.
Well,
hey, shh. That did
the
not
Democrats have learned well.
happen. Oh, man.
Not well enough, though,
I was
evidently.
say, did they really? They learned
Oh,
it?
gosh. That's an okay. There's 2 things that I want to talk about. 2 things involving one person. First of all, they need to fix the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
They need to fix.
No, I think you should go back to the old rules.
You don't think we should go back to the old rules? Why not, Jim? Okay.
Well, I can't. Because the rules right now, if they did that, that means that they would be. In other words, how am I going to put this? It would be almost like they would be lackluster if they went back. Because let's face it, right now the rules support them.
Right.
So, and then they could just like.
It would give the Democrats the room to step in and take away
Absolutely
from
no
the power.
room. Absolutely no room. They couldn't do very much. They couldn't. They can't filibuster because they don't have 60 people, right? They need 60 votes for filibuster. Right. They can't submit anything through. The Democrats can't submit anything through unless there's 60% voting. You know, I mean,
All right.
it
But
really helps.
let's ask the true question.
But it's, you know what? But
what's
it's
right
unethical.
and what's wrong? Exactly.
Yeah, it's unethical.
It's unethical. They need to change it back, even if it hurts them. They can still get things accomplished. And here's another thing. Harry Reid, and that's why I said before, these two things go together.
That was a good one, man.
Harry
That
Reid
was
is gone.
That to answer Jim's question, for me, that was the big one. That one where, you know, I kind of went, yes, because after seeing all the stuff he's done, I mean, he's done a lot of outrageous, gross things, you know. But just to push
He's a thief. So is his son. He helped his son. Oh,
exactly.
my gosh.
And then just to push it, the whole Clive and Bundy thing, that didn't help. So I was very pleased to see him go after, you know, especially the whole Bundy family incident. But so yeah, Reed's Gandhi. That's good.
Well, you better tell people about the Bundy thing because they're going to think you know.
Yeah, a little fresher on Bundy.
Oh, the land management, Bureau of Land Management. Basically, they're. Well,
he couldn't free range, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, his cattle, they basically, land management came in, killed some of his cattle for X and Y reasons, and basically, did they tell him to get out, or the Bundys took a stand, basically, and said, get off of our land, get out of here.
Oh my gosh, we got smoke coming out and everything.
It's a party now.
No, basically you're right there. Do you know that free ranging, you can free range on government property? Okay, certain government property, if you have animals, like say for instance like goats or something like that, we can go and send goats on public land to eat the
vegetation.
The vegetation, yeah, right, exactly. And it helps, you know, fire protection, and it helps a lot of things, and it causes stimulation for growth in certain areas. Anyway, so that's what he was doing, and he was doing it for a long time.
Well, yeah,
110,000 acres.
The family had been doing this for
I don't know. It was a couple of generations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was a couple of generations, a minimum. And then they sent the land management in and stole every one of his cows. Shot a bunch.
Shot, killed, okay.
Shot not that many. I think he shot a couple of dozen or something like that, but they took every one of them, though.
Well, they even shot
30,000 or whatever it was.
But the whole thing is they came under false pretense, stating that, number one, there was some sort of, I forget, frog or insect or something there that was going to be
At first, whatever it
destroyed.
Was.
And then they came back, and I forget what they said it was the second time. When we finally came down to the truth, it was all about Reed. I think his son had something to do with it.
Well,
and they wanted the property for...
it was a witch's brew, is literally what it was, because there was a lot of things that were involved, but one of the biggest things that just hurt me to see a senator of the United States call somebody a criminal on the floor of the Senate because they're free-ranging.
All right. He has no clue of what it's about. All he was out for was his own agenda. They wanted the property because they wanted to make money off of the windmills and stuff like that.
Well, I heard it was a lot more than that. I heard there was a lot of things involved. You got to really siphon through something like that because I don't think our regular media would give us the information. We need people who are going to be like, they're going to be open-minded and do some kind of like, I would say a documentary type of a thing that really looks into it. Like if you ever see Frack Nation, you got to watch Frack Nation.
Yeah.
That'll really open your eyes to fracking because I was an anti-fracker. You know, it's one of the, hey, man, you shouldn't be doing that stuff. It causes off. Then you find out the truth. You go, oh my gosh, that's terrible.
I know, pulling truth darts out.
Especially
those barbed
Especially
ones.
when you're the one saying, yeah, we shouldn't frack, and you see something like that, you go, oh my gosh, was I far from right? Anyway, so yeah, I think we need something like that on the Bundy thing.
That sounds like what America just went through. God, I was far from right.
Totally. Yeah. So clearly, it was Reed was just, he was up to his eyeballs.
He's livid too. From what I understand, he's not happy.
That is a good thing for me too. I still think Illinois was number one for me.
You know what? That was a huge one. When I heard that, I was.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Yeah, that's
his own home state.
Exactly. I mean, that's like one he thinks he can count on that one. But now, yeah, exactly. Now tables have turned a little bit.
I've seen a show on. They have round table on a lot of. Scholarly. I'm sorry. Sorry, we're down on mics here. We got a lot of different problems. Has anybody ever seen and even our folks out there, have you seen that round table discussion of American blacks and the political view that they truly do have a lot of American blacks? They don't really like Obama. He didn't do anything for them. especially on the inner cities.
Yeah,
They're really upset.
I've seen a lot of anecdotal interviews on the news and stuff that have said the same thing. This is, well, how do you feel about his performance? I'm like, he hasn't done anything for us. Our communities are still poop.
And promised.
Yeah,
It's
and
one thing
promised
to
us to help
say
us
something.
specifically, and then they didn't follow
Yeah,
through
but
with
to
what it
use
was.
the word promise is different than just saying it.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's one thing when you're a politician, you're saying you're going to want to do this, you want to accomplish this, you want to accomplish that. That's cool. A lot of politicians have idealistic ideas. That's good. That's really good. I think idealism is
supposed to
good.
have some sort of character or
Right.
compass.
But when you promise people things and you promise that you will help communities, certain communities, if we were to say we're going to feed the poor and then never give them a buck, hey, come on.
Well,
That's a broken promise.
Yeah, but look at this. The people that were voting had to have some sort of common sense to know that some of these things that were being promised could never come through.
Detroit, hey, look what Detroit wanted. Detroit City.
But they had hope.
Yeah, but he can keep the change, man. I mean,
You think I'm kidding, but no, this is a truth era. They had hope, and they literally thought,
You guys are so cruel.
on occasion, it's called for.
But that's another biggie, though. I mean, I was really happy to see Mr. Reed sit down and have some lunch finally, but and maybe he might come back, might not come back from lunch. Those guys, they never come back. Is he still working? Is he still? Yeah, right. He'll be doing the college circuit or something. Is Henry still here? Henry? You mean Harry? Oh, that's right, Harry.
Yeah, whatever his name
Whatever
is.
his name is. Is he still around?
20 years from now, it'll be like, that guy got Senator...
the guy
From
Bureau
Sin
of Land
City.
Management. Yeah, Vegas. He screwed with all those farmers. What's his name? He's a real dirtbag.
We can only hope that that's the case.
Oh, we can only hope.
Unbelievable. I will say this, though. Out of all the voting, I'm very happy to see what happened. I wish that there was more change in California. But that's something we can work on in the future. It does look like we did gain a seat or two from what we gained 3 seats in California.
In the U.S. Congress, yeah.
So that's an amazing feat there in itself.
One step at a time.
One is still, they're still working on it.
It's a wobbler.
And if Caps does get unseated, that's going to be a fantastic push for us as well.
That's going to be awesome.
And all we have to do is get the rest of California to work on the coast of California, and maybe we can make some difference.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah, the coastal areas it's definitely a hot issue in the area. I mean, there's lots of different aspects of it too. I mean,
There's a pretty wide variety of populations, both economically as well as culturally. So there's a lot to overcome along the coastlines.
There is, and a lot of it has to do with like what you're saying. I mean, we have almost 3 huge city areas that we're dealing with, which is a huge populace in a smaller area, which is usually what dictates what happens over the rest of the state of California.
Well, that's why we have the way we have the vote for our president.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly like we've seen in San Francisco. You see it happen there first, and then you can literally watch it roll downhill from there.
And we got Hollyweird too.
Oh well. Whatever.
Yeah, that's still the LA group, but you're right. Oh my gosh, it never phases me. I mean, never surprises me.
Exactly.
Hollywood, man, they go and they take one class in college, and it's I'm a professor now on how to I don't know, wipe my.
I'm an expert on light bulb installation.
Yeah.
I mean,
I played that in a movie. I know what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
I'm an operator because I was an operator in a movie.
Well, at least Steven Seagal is actually a real cop, right?
Well,
all right.
That's the only one karate guy out there. He can't act, but he's a real karate guy.
Karate.
He's only ever been beaten by one person. He was choked out.
Oh, a coward's move.
But that guy's a real tough guy. You know what? I was surprised. I found this out about a year ago, but Sons of Anarchy.
SOA.
Okay. What is her name on that show?
Peg Bundy.
Peg Bundy. Seagal. I mean, that's
Katie
brother
Seagal.
and sister right there.
Who and who?
Brother and sister.
Yeah, but who's the brother?
Hey.
Yeah, but Steven Seagal, Katie Seagal, related, brother and sister.
I didn't know
Are
that.
they really? Or is
From
that...
what I understand, yeah.
Oh, amazing. You learn something new every day on the firing line.
That's right.
Cool. Well, you know, we only got a couple seconds left here. We're going to wrap it up quickly, but we'll get a couple good shows in for you guys for the remainder of the month.
Veterans.
And, for Veterans Day, too. You know, everybody take a moment to, do whatever. Remember the veterans. Say thank you, hug, kiss a veteran. They're out there putting boot to butt for us so we can...
And they have for hundreds of years now.
Oh,
There's a couple veterans
So.
out there I'd love to hug and kiss.
Oh, well, that's interesting. All right.
Wow.
Thank you for listening.
This is the